My 26 male, soon-to-be ex-wife, 25 female, is trying to get me to come back and won't leave me alone. For nearly a year, my wife cheated on me, lied to me, and manipulated me into melancholy. When I found out, I left and went back to live with my folks. After that, I found out about a slew of other men and online sites she had. I also discovered that she had almost immediately moved in with one of our common friends, who had emailed her a week before we parted, admitting his emotions for her. I was entirely over it and had moved on 4 months later, after a lot of treatment, which I was already in before this, and a lot of support from friends and family. Unfortunately, we couldn't afford a divorce at the time of separation, so that process has just recently begun. I met someone and fell fully in love with them, and the feeling is reciprocal. It simply dropped into my lap and felt so perfect. I wasn't seeking for anything, it just fell into my lap and felt so right. It's going well. And I've never been happier in my life. My soon-to-be ex, on the other hand, found out about this connection and has done a full 180. She ended things with her new partner, doesn't want a divorce, and wants to get back together and go to marital therapy, claiming she loves me and feels we're meant to be together. She texts me and my family members so often that it borders on harassment. Everyone else has blocked her, but I attempted to talk to her and tell her it's all done. She will not accept anything less than a "yes, let's get back together" response. I don't love her anymore, but I know how she can be, and I'm afraid she'll do something to damage herself for attention, but I don't think it's my place to intervene. How can I deal with this problem while keeping her out of my life until the divorce is finalized? And what should I do if she does threaten to injure herself? What are my alternatives? I just need assistance. Update. If your so claims they won't cheat because the person is unattractive, they're too old/young, not my type, etc., instead of saying I would never do anything to violate your confidence or go back on the promise we made together or anything similar, start arranging your escape strategy. It's been almost 2 years since D-Day. I've been in a new relationship with a beautiful lady for 7 months. I never lost faith in real love or soulmates. However, I never stopped looking for red signs. Anyone has the ability to cheat, but I am certain that not everyone would. One night, my girlfriend and I were out, and I inquired about a male friend of hers. They used to be rather close a few years ago, but not so much now. They are still friends and communicate. So I decided to ask her whether they ever had a relationship, love sentiments, or a past. She said that they were simply pals, and that she was certain she was a lesbian at the time. She's since discovered she was confused, but she no longer finds herself attracted to women, thus she considers herself straight. Even after that, she had no love sentiments for him, nor did she have any history with him. She was relieved, I asked, since it was definitely something on my mind. She went on to say that anybody she's ever dated, had emotions for, or had with is no longer in her life. When it's over, she's done, and she doesn't want to be a part of their lives anymore. Because she was so forthright, I inquired about another man friend of hers with whom she had just been chatting. She told me about their friendship, gave me the messages without asking if I wanted to see them, and claimed I'd never cheat on you with anybody. I've made a promise to you. We haven't agreed to marry, but I've made a promise to be with you exclusively to see whether we want to spend the rest of our lives together. If it doesn't work, or if I find myself wanting to be with other people, I'll tell you, and we'll call it quits. But there are certain limits I won't cross while we're together. I simply sobbed and thanked her for being so open and honest with me. She is aware of how my marriage failed due to my wife's several indiscretions. I would have had a major issue if she had responded, "Oh, don't worry about him, we're just friends," or "Aw, he's so ugly." I wouldn't cheat on you with him. Actions speak louder than words, and I will never stop paying attention to them and looking for warning signals. However, open and honest communication may go a long way. Update 2. To begin, some background knowledge is necessary. My ex-wife and I separated and divorced more than 2 years ago. We were officially divorced a few months after we had finalized our separation. As soon as I moved out, she began dating her most recent AP, who happened to be a guy she used to work with. He's an out-and-out jerk who used to brag about sleeping with married women he met in bars, says his girlfriend. Despite the fact that he was 28 years old, he was living with his parents, doing drugs and spending his days playing video games. He couldn't even hold down a job for more than 6 months. When I had to call my ex about some important mail for me that had been sent to her by mistake, he got irate and threatened to come after me and my family in a loosely defined manner. I figured he was harmless, and that he was just trying to sound threatening because he was feeling insecure, so I laughed it off, and as anticipated, nothing came of it. My ex called me last night from a different phone number from the one I had blocked for her. I answered, and when I heard cries, I knew it was her since she was weeping. When she called, I became furious with her since we had both decided that staying out of touch was the best course of action. But I was aware that her life had worsened since I had left. She was still living next door to her parents, and she had just given birth to a kid with her AP/boyfriend, which I knew was a sign of things to come. For my own selfish reasons, I was interested in hearing what she had to say in the hopes that it would be pleasing to me. She said that she had been following my family's social media accounts through a friend's account and that she had been missing me a lot. She informed me that she was planning to pass by my parents' house on her way home and asked if she may stop by to give me a hug, presuming that I still lived at the address. I told her no way and was on the verge of hanging up right then. After discovering that she was calling me and spewing this nonsense, I informed her that I did not need her boyfriend/baby daddy to visit and cause trouble with me or my family. She went on to say that he wouldn't come after me, but that he would take it out on her. For a quick second, I thought to myself, oh brother, but then I realized how terrible I felt for her after thinking about what she had just said. When I inquired as to what she was referring to, she just wept and didn't say anything. When I inquired as to whether he physically hurts her, it took her almost 30 seconds to respond, it doesn't matter, between screams of desperation. She repeated herself once more. It doesn't make a difference. I've made a lot of bad judgments, and here are the consequences of those mistakes. Despite her flaws, she was never the kind to take criticism from others well. An inebriated guy was being grabby with her at a high school party, and he attacked her when she pushed him off the dance floor with her bare hands. He was smacked in the teeth as a consequence of her actions. Her parents would have cooperated in holding me down if I had been abusive towards her. If she's merely attempting to get me back into her life or whether she's involved in a domestic violence situation with this guy, I'm not sure. I told her of my decision. If you've never accepted anything like this from anybody else before, don't start now. Regardless of how I feel about you, you are a human being who does not deserve to be physically harmed in any way. Take your child and leave as soon as possible. She just said that she should not have called and apologized, after which she hung up. I thought about that for the rest of the night. Our lives have become no longer interwoven with one another. Her difficulties are not my difficulties, and vice versa. The two of us are no longer together, as I am also no longer with her. She caused irreparable harm to me by cheating on me with a variety of men over the most of our 2.5-year marriage. My family and I were saddened by the falsehoods and deception that had been perpetrated against us. I've moved on, and she no longer has any significance in my life. However, this does not imply that she deserves to be mistreated or that her child should be nurtured in a dangerous atmosphere. I'm completely at a loss on what to do. It's not something I'm going to bring up with him. I have a part of me that feels I don't have to do anything since it's just another of her fabrications, but I must fight the temptation to fall for it. However, another part of me feels that I must act because it is the right thing to do, even if it is a lie, and that I must act now. I'm asking for advice on what to do, if anything, in this circumstance.